I want to introduce you today to a minor goddess called Fortuna, the goddess of fortune. This is a Roman version of this goddess. You see, in the Greco-Roman tradition, there are major gods, Zeus, Aphrodite, Hermes, and then there are all these minor gods. We've featured Kairos, remember, the god of opportunity. He's not a major god, but he's a god nonetheless. He represents a certain important force. And the same with this goddess. She's not a major goddess, but she is the goddess of fortune, and as such, she carries a cornucopia, a horn of plenty with fruits and things spilling out. If you have good fortune, or it's really better to say good luck, she may bestow good luck upon you, in which case you receive her bounties, but she is also the goddess of bad luck, right? They cannot be one without the other. That is her domain. She is the goddess of good or bad fortune, good or bad luck. The Romans spilled into the medieval because really medieval time, the so-called Dark Ages, medieval times in Europe begin with the end of the Roman Empire. So a lot of the deities from Rome spill over, and she is one of them, except that in medieval times you see her usually in the middle of a wheel called the Wheel of Fortune, the wheel of the goddess Fortune, because it is by her gift that you may rise to become a king, or they have been the same in the opposite side, it is by her force, let's say, that you may fall to poverty, to ruin, to tragedy, whatever it may be. And so this is the origin of the Wheel of Fortune that then also in medieval times appears in the deck of the tarot, in the major arcana. The deck of the tarot is divided into two decks. The minor arcana is more corresponds with the common deck, the same one we use to portray the divisions of centers, except that the tarot is more complete. It accounts for an instinctive part that gets missed in the common deck over here. It divides the jacks into two, which we don't have in the common deck. So it's slightly more precise, but it doesn't matter so much. What it has that the common deck doesn't have is an additional 21 cards that are called the major arcana. And among these, card number 10, you see the number 10 here in Roman numerals, is the Wheel of Fortune. On the left, we see a French version, the Tarot of Marseille, very famous. On the right, we see the Italian version, the Visconti version, which is much more elaborate because it was commissioned by the Visconti family. So there was money behind this. The Marseille Tarot is more, kind of the deck that commoners would have used. Both are valid, both are useful. Let's look at the Italian one, and here we see the goddess of fortune, but now she's blindfolded, and this is not unique to the tarot. In other words, the goddess of fortune bestows good or bad fortune indiscriminately, arbitrarily, not by any justice, not because anyone did anything good or anything bad. The bad can be lucky, the good can be unlucky, as we know, as happens in life, because of the law of accident of the goddess of fortune. So we're starting to see what the fourth way calls the law of accident. It's accidental, it's random, it's unpredictable. You get the same impression from the Marseille version of the tarot, where the hub of the wheel is powered by this lever that nobody is holding. Nobody is in charge. It just goes accidentally. Law of accident. Also in medieval times, this in certain more esoteric circles, more esoteric illuminated manuscripts, this idea was taken internally. So that there's not only the manifestation of accident outside, where I may cross the road and by sheer bad luck be hit by a car, or I may come upon a bag full of money and, encounter good fortune. That is the external good and bad fortune. But also there is the internal, which Gurdjieff conveys very clearly in the following quotation. They all call themselves I. That is, they consider themselves masters, and none wants to recognize another. Each of them is caliph for an hour. He whips everyone on all sides and takes heed of nothing. But the next moment, another seizes the whip and beats him, and so it goes on all one's life. One I, king for now, predominant in my internal psychology, only to be turned down and replaced by a new one that often is its opposite. I go into something with conviction, with a strong emotion. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this correction. From tomorrow, I'm going to stop having breakfasts. I want to go on a diet. Yes, this sounds very right. It's a good idea, Hannah, isn't it? Right? It's very, anyway, arguably, but I have this, for me, it sounds like the right thing to do. And the I, at that moment, while the I is on top, it sounds like not only the right thing to do, but the obvious thing to do. And one that I definitely have the willpower to, well, because, it's me, of course. Of course I can do this. And I decide this and I go to bed with this conviction. But when I wake up in the morning, there are different groups of eyes, of course, largely stimulated by an empty stomach. It seems a bit, well, maybe at least I'll drink something. Coffee, what's wrong with coffee? I won't eat, I'll just drink. And all of a sudden the wheel turns, and that's our unconscious life governed by the internal manifestation of the law of accident. This is, of course, the one that is mostly of interest to us, not so much avoiding car accidents as avoiding the manifestation of the law of accident within. Ouspensky says, when inner accidents stop in us, it will make us more free from external accidents. There are too many accidental things in ourselves, and we can get rid of these accidental things only by creating a center of gravity, a certain permanent weight in the sense that it keeps us more balanced. And for this, we need a school. This center of gravity, this balance, this consistency, this reliability is really what schoolwork is all about. Creating something that won't just blow in and out with the wind, but will be there reliably, consistently. In preparation for exploring this area, I challenged you to photograph two different scenarios. One, where a difficult situation arises during your day that you could not have predicted. And another, a difficult situation that arises during your day, but that you could have predicted, you could have foreseen, and therefore you could have planned for.